listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back, fresh off the heels of Monday Night Raw and Father's Day. And so it was a big weekend. We were going to try and get in the studio last night. Didn't work out. Like I said, a lot going on with the holidays. But better late than never. Plus, we might get to talk about a little bit of Raw on this episode. But we're going to try and keep it tight. We say that every week. We're going to try and stick to it this time. So let's go ahead and get right into everything. Before I get too far into anything, let me go ahead and introduce the man of the hour. He celebrated his first Father's Day yesterday. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, very sad day for the Scoop Slam Podcast as the Boston Celtics celebrate championship number 18, and they beat the tie with the Los Angeles Lakers for the most championships in NBA history. So it's a very sad day for you boys.
Yeah, Team Green, not my favorite. I was really hoping the Mavericks would win, but they kind of made them look JV.
Bro, it was I had hope for a second. I was like, well, Kyrie, he certainly is gonna have a good game in the series. I mean, he has to, right? Future Hall of Famer. You know, maybe one game of a 40 piece he can give us. Nope, he cannot.
I thought he had like 38 in the game that they actually won by like 38.
Luka went off. I mean, Kyrie was kind of he was good, but it wasn't Kyrie like he was in that last series and the series before that.
Well,
they completely shut him down, man. They put him in prison, put him in handcuffs, Micah.
You know who he needs?
What? Who's that?
LeBron.
A father figure. You think he called LeBron on Father's Day?
Oh, he ought to be calling Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, mainly Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jason Tatum, get out of here. People want to crown him as a top 5 player, man. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
It's gonna be the Kawhi effect. It happened when they won with the Raptors. Everybody was like, Kawhi's the best player in the league right now. And then he went to the Clippers and they ain't won a dang thing to show for it.
Well, at least Kawhi won Finals MVP. I mean, Jason Tatum, he didn't win Finals MVP. He probably wouldn't have been third place for Finals MVP in this series. Probably would have been like Drew Holiday or Derek White.
Who got it? Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, I think Jaylen Brown did win it, which he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP as well. Bro, we are done with light skins. Like ever since Kendrick called out Drake, man, we done with light skins.
Well, before anybody gets the pitchforks ready, Ryan is light skinned, so I have no comment on said claims, sir. Not in this climate.
All right, man. So what are we talking about this week? Dynamite on the agenda? Or are we doing Clash? What are we doing?
We're going to start with a little bit of Dynamite from last week. Then we'll do Clash, and time permitting, we'll get to Raw. Also, I wanted to say the last thing I want to see on my timeline is Jason Tatum doing the Kobe pose, but you know it's coming.
Oh, he will. Probably out there already.
So let's venture to, I believe it was Des Moines, Iowa. That's where Dynamite was this past week. Yeah,
it was a terrible crowd, too. Dark.
Yeah. Well, no, that's AEW Dark. This was AEW Dynamite.
My mistake.
Anyways, so like I said, Des Moines, Iowa, and not a packed show, but they did start out on a good foot, I felt like. They started out with the world champion coming out. Swerve comes out to a decent applause. It mainly trailed off when he started getting into the promo. And speaking of trailing off, I'm sure many viewers did, as his interruption was the Elite. They came down with Okada and Jack Perry, and they basically try to recruit him to their cause because they're having a blood and guts match that they announced for sometime in July. I don't remember where or a specific date.
Why is that? Is it
why are they having a blood and guts match?
Yeah, what is it for? I didn't catch it when I was listening to the show on the background. I didn't They say why they're doing a blood and guts match now? It's
I don't
for
know if I didn't.
supremacy or what's going on?
Well, that's how they kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Propped it up, where it's like them versus Team AEW. But I don't know if that happened last week. We took a or I took a sabbatical. I watched no wrestling last week because I was on vacation and I needed a break. So I don't know if there was a setup, but I know they said they needed 5 men, and then they promoted Blood and Guts. So then they tried to give him shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. So, you think those things are selling well?
Well, apparently they did sell out pretty quick. As much as I'm not a fan of the Bucks and their TV product, they sold like 3,000 something within.
That's all they made?
Yeah, within
They
like
only,
a
they only
couple
made 3,000.
hours.
They only made 3,000. I mean, come on now.
Well, that's like all the fans they have left at this point, or all the people that are entertained by the Elite. Needless to say, this was not entertaining to me. Like I said, I like Swerve starting the show off, but then it feels like people aren't bought into him anymore because
some people want him to turn heel.
Well, that's when people liked him. I mean, they don't know how to book baby faces in AEW because the heels always get over, or like people will get over and make you cheer for them, like a Wardlow. And then when they do go babyface, they don't know what to do anymore. It's a cool heel promotion, but you can't have cool heels if they don't have anyone to go against or root for. I think that's why Cody didn't work over there, and then he's so huge in WWE right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man, because Cody was kind of still doing the same type of babyface stuff over in AEW. I just think the fans didn't appreciate him.
I think there's an element of that, but I just don't think the type of content that Cody was trying to do worked over there because the people
it probably clashed. It probably clashed with what the Bucks and Omega and all the other EVPs wanted to do. Cody wanted to do a whole different type of wrestling, and they didn't want to do that.
Well, not only that, but I mean, while I think that's true, I don't think the Bucks are good leaders, like of this said group. They can't really cut a good promo to me, and they've never been known for that. And then when they're in the group with Okada, who towers over them, and Jack Perry, it's like a poor man's evolution.
Okada stinks, dude. Notice how he only gets a reaction when he cusses.
Yeah. He's good in the ring, but you can't expect him to be good on the mic.
Are we sure? Have we seen that? I haven't seen it yet.
He had a good match with Pac.
When was that? 2 months ago?
April? Dynasty?
That was in April? God.
Hey, yeah, man, I tell you, time flies.
Yeah, he had one good match with Pac, but after that, have you seen anything else?
I mean, not that I can remember, but
he's in a better place than Jay White. I'll say that.
Well, greatest heel in the business.
Greatest heel of all time. So do you think that they bring in Paige for that fifth spot?
Probably. There was a rumor floating online that he was going to come back soon, and he was coming back as a heel. And I mean, that's all Paige has ever done. He's always in the universe. There's just 18 different universe. There's the Jericho verse, there's the Bucks verse, and like Paige is always involved with them somehow. Like he'll go on little excursions and have his feud with Swerve or whatever, but then he always gets roped back into doing their crap because they're all friends.
Didn't the Bucks suspend him in kayfabe, or am I misremembering that?
I'm not bought in on the story, so I can't tell you.
Okay, come on. I think they did suspend him. They suspended him from the Elite. I'm sorry.
Oh,
so I don't know what that means exactly. But
when was he? No, he was with them, wasn't he? Weren't they like competing for the trios title at some point?
I don't know about this year, but that sounds right. Yeah.
Dude, everything moves so fast over there, but you don't care about any of it. It's just like
So
on. In
much.
WWE, it moves so slow, and we'll get to that. Like you just want something to happen. And in AEW, it's like nothing right ever happens, but at least something is happening.
Nothing good is happening in AEW, but stuff does happen on the show. But
Yeah.
when stuff happens in WWE, you remember it because most of the weekly shows, I mean, nothing happened. This is why the angle that happened on Raw tonight is going to be remembered from years from now. It'll be remembered, but I don't know, man. The whole Tony Khan getting dropped on his head from a tombstone or Meltzer driver or whatever they call that move, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. And it really hasn't proven anything with the viewership. I mean, people are just running away because that's my point about this whole group. The Jacksons are not leaders. If you're going to lead a group, you need to be menacing. You need to be good on the mic, but it's everything they say has a veil of like comedy with it,
Yeah.
and it's not believable. Why
Yeah.
would
Just
Swerve be scared of these two goofs that are smaller than him and they're only good in tag matches?
I have no idea, but at least Swerve is feuding with the main event guys now. Instead of being in mid card.
Well, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, who feels more unimportant?
Well, got a point. I think
So,
I think now that Ricochet is a free agent, I think I think he's gonna be involved in this storyline somehow. Maybe he'll be the fifth man for the elite. Can you see that happening?
uh, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but I don't know that they would bring him in to do that rather
Well,
than
you,
like Will Osprey.
well, you can't have Paige in it again, man, because then Paige will have to feud with Swerve again, right? I don't want to see that anymore. How many
I mean,
times
I don't either, but
how many times did they have a match together? They had like 4 or 5 matches.
you know how AEW is though. Like things whenever you think there's an ending to something, it's going to go on another 3 months.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of going on forever, let's move to the next segment because that basically ended in a brawl or almost brawl, and Christopher Daniels came out in his best Adam Pearce impersonation, which I'm fine with them having a manager. They've needed one for a long time, but
They could have picked anybody else.
yeah, I mean he looks a lot like. I mean, I hate to be like that, but dude, the similarities are a little uncanny.
He's like half the size of Adam Pearce. Too.
Yeah. So following that, Mark Briscoe was in the back
Yeah, I
with,
like this.
yeah, it was very good. He was cutting a promo trying to get Kyle O'Reilly, the team of him, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy over. And it just made me sick with the fact that like Mark Briscoe is one of the best. I won't say he's one of the best in-ring guys they have, but he's probably, maybe a little bit under, like in the top 3/4 of the place, but he's one of the probably top 15 or top 10 guys they have on the promo. Like, I showed it to my wife because obviously, she doesn't really know anything about the Briscoes. And I said, this is admittedly a little hokey. I can see that, but haven't you seen somebody like this? And she said, yeah, I could buy this as like a homeless guy right outside of a Waffle House. And that's what he goes for.
Yeah, and he fits that bill to a T.
But he got Cassidy over more than anything that I've seen Cassidy do himself with the whole, like, he's the man with his hands and a man with a plan. He's got his hands in his pockets. You better hide your jaw because he's going to rock it. Like, and you could tell that wasn't Mark reciting something all like scripted. It was straight off the dome. And like, I don't know. It's believable. And no, instead we're going to have the Jacksons go out there, have Shibata with a translator. Yeah, this will get over.
Well, he's running the camera too now, Mike. So he's multifaceted, multi-talented, Shibata.
Well, hey, maybe instead of his brain, they gave him like a robot brain, so he's just synced in. Maybe that's how he translates it so fast. Because, we talked about how that makes 0 sense. Maybe, he's just a robot under all that skin.
I want to know how the New Japan diehards are feeling about how they're treating guys like Shibata and Jay White. They can't be happy with that, right?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know, man. The perception is so warped. You got people calling the Jericho stuff good. So what truly is enough to call something bad in the IWC?
I guess you got a point. Hey, bro. So, like, Mark Briscoe is usually banished to ROH every week. Why is that? You got guys like Mark Briscoe that should be on the main shows, yet we see Orange Cassidy every single week. Just something's not adding up there, Micah. And then what about Athena? What happened to her?
I think she's hurt.
Is she?
Don't quote me on that, but I thought I heard that she was hurt.
Bro, like I was hearing a bunch of good things about her in ROH doing well with the ROH women's title, and they were supposedly going to bring her back up to TV, and we never got her. We get Deonna Purrazzo, and they rush off Serena Deeb here and there. I just don't understand we go through it every week, but the bipolarness of you see a guy you want to see, and then you never see him again, or they'll banish him to ROH, and then you never see him because you don't want to watch ROH.
Nope. Well, one thing if they made ROH the developmental, but they have guys like Mark Briscoe, like you said, or Athena, or there's other people down there. They had Samoa Joe as a champion for a while. Like, there's people down there that don't deserve to be on the D-list show that they have. You have a total of 5 hours of national television product, and you could make it matter. But Rampage doesn't really matter anymore. Collision only matters if there's one match set up or 2 matches that you like those people, but most of the time, nothing world-changing is going to happen on it. So, but no, stick them on the show that you have to pay to watch.
It's so sad to see, too, because the crowds are... Bro, you think the Dynamite crowds are bad and minimal? Just watch a clip of ROH. Like, it is dark. You can only see one row of people. They turn off the lights.
Well, you know what happened when we went to that show on Collision? They're like, no, stay for ROH. And I was like, no.
Please stay for the match. Please, God. The match begging us.
Hey, man, no. I saw something the other day. I cannot remember what spawned it. But it was like, I can see Dax now talking about how AEW is the perfect place to be, and I love AEW, and I thank AEW. Like, the consistency that he has to post something when something negative comes out has made me not like him as much as I used to. And I used to love FTR.
Yeah, I'm done with him. I hate him from all his online escapades.
We done with the 90s.
Done with FTR.
So, to follow up on the Mark Briscoe thing, also, and I didn't really watch the match. I watched the ending of it, but it was the Don Callis family versus Briscoe, OC, and Kyle O'Reilly. And they had Mark eat the pin out of all those guys.
Did he?
Yes! He cut the promo in the back, and he's the Ring of Honor World Champion, and you don't have Kyle O'Reilly take the pin?
He lost for real?
Yes! I think Kyle Fletcher pinned him.
Oh, man, I thought they won this match. I'm sorry.
No!
I'm looking at it right now, yeah.
It came up, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch this because Orange Cassidy's in it, I know. But I'll skip to the end and see what happens, because I was like, I know they're going to pin Mark. Yeah, they did. But we'll move on. MJF and Roosh are kind of built into a small semi-feud.
Get out of here with this. Bro, you bring your top guy back and you have him feud with Roosh.
Well, the people like him. The fans like him online, at
Who?
least.
Who? Have you met a Roosh fan in real life, Micah?
No, no, I don't think I have.
How many Toro Blanco shirts are out in the open that you have seen?
Mm. 0.
Exactly. Come on now, bro. What is this? And then he threw MJF all around the barricade. I hate it. Come on.
I think Roosh is good in the ring, but he
What?
goes into business for himself.
Yeah. Why are they treating him like he's an equal to MJF? Like
Yeah.
MJF should not have been getting thrown around like that.
And he hadn't even been on the show in forever. Like, after this MJF feud, you know what's going to happen. It's just like we talk about. He's going to be off the show for 2 months, and then it'll be like, somebody will say, well, man, why ain't Roosh on the TV no more? And they'll be like, well, he's having visa issues. And then he'll come back and do the same thing.
No, the old visa issues. I figure they get that figured out in 5 years in.
I don't understand. Like, obviously, I'm not, like, from a different country, so I don't know what all goes into it, but my God, dude. How do you have this many issues? And this isn't even the part of the segment that actually bothered me the most. I don't mind it if it's gonna heat MJF up quick and they'll have a good match, like whatever. I'm not a big fan of Roosh, and whenever MJF feuds with a foreign wrestler,
Uh-oh.
it makes him go into his typical tropes of like, I can't understand you, and that completely, like, I did not enjoy their segment on the mic last week because Roosh obviously isn't going to be able to cut a good promo because English isn't his native language. And then in this whole charade where they have a brawl, which went on too long, Roosh gets spine buster through a table and then gets right back up and turns it over on MJF.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Former longest reigning world champion, MJF.
Yeah.
Spinebusters, an accomplishmentless guy in that company. And he just, I'm going to turn this over on you. Now I'm in top mount.
Well, I mean, Micah Roosh is a former ROH world champion, so that holds a lot of weight.
Oh, it does, because in the match previous, Mark Briscoe got pinned.
Oh, yeah, we got about that.
So
I don't know, man. What happened to Jose the assistant? Is he not there anymore? Was he managing Roosh? Or was that another guy?
I don't remember, actually. I think he was, but he was like Andrade's manager, and I don't know. So much happens on the show, and yet nothing happens at all.
Oh, yeah, he did get released. I'm looking at him. He did.
Oh, okay.
It's the other guy that's still around, the one that is the manager for Penta and his brother.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix.
Yeah. Their manager's still around. Don't remember his name, but
yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, that guy.
Other than that, we'll move to, they announced the eliminator matches for a title that I don't remember why I wrote this down for.
All right. Was it Sasha and Zeusix? Is that the eliminator match you talking about?
No, I didn't watch that, but no, that wasn't it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't for the TNT title.
International title?
Yes, I think that's what it was.
No, the international title got defended on the show. Ospreay defended it against Ray Phoenix.
Well, crap. Anyways, I hate
was it Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata, or?
No, that's next up. There was some.
I don't know.
There was some championship they were having an eliminator match for, and I hate eliminator matches. It's so stupid and like nonsensical. Just have a title match or get rid of the rankings.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there's rankings. They still have that.
Good point. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw him.
Bro, I don't think they do that anymore. Ever since Roddy got a title match when he just lost the match the week before, and he got a title match next week.
They brought it back for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to do, Micah. Especially when you book it on the fly like they do.
Yeah, well, just general booking is a difficult thing to do, apparently. But anyways, there's only 2 more things. So one thing I just want to hit on. We got Samoa Joe, right? Former world champ, the last world champion, aside from Swerve, right?
Okay.
Is in a shooter/comedy group because that's the best we can do with 3 guys who have shooter styles. And it's funny because Shibata gets to hold a camera and translate.
I think if you're a babyface, you have to do comedy. I think that's the part of the show.
I can get it for Cassidy.
Yeah.
I can even get it for a Mark Briscoe.
Okay.
If you want to do a little comedy. But like Samoa Joe was your former world champion.
Yeah. Supposed to be a badass.
Yeah.
Like a modern day Taz.
Yeah, there's Hook, who doesn't really talk. His dad was Taz. Shooter, apparently.
Lacrosse player.
Well, there's more that meets the eye there. Shibata, shooter. Maybe a robot, but he's a shooter.
Robot shooter.
RoboCop. So
man, we're seeing it.
He's in the cage, by God. Anyways, why are these guys doing comedy? Like, I think Samoa Joe and Hook could be a good tag team.
Yeah.
I don't see the insistence on making people funny that don't have to be funny. There's no sense in it, dude. And it's just ridiculous. This is really the last thing I have other than the Jericho stuff, which we'll get to. But everything has to be funny. Nothing makes any sense. And you don't, tell me one person that you care about on this TV show. It's like, man, I got to watch their segment.
I went out of my way to watch the MJF segments.
Well, but then look at who he's feuding with.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I like MJF too, and I usually check out whatever he's doing, but what about MJF and Roosh pulls somebody in other than, they'll have a good match. That's all it ever is. Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix. They'll have a good match. But God forbid a story.
Bro, did you see NXT beat him in the ratings this week?
Oh, yeah.
The ratings just going lower and lower for AEW. How low can we go? We get down to 500,000 by the end of the year?
And people want to talk about the finals being in the way. The past 3 years, they had over 1 million with the finals on. They had 900,000 with the finals on. They had another 900,000 with the finals on. And then you got 681. So the finals are getting worse. And somehow AEW is getting worse.
The lowest viewership for the finals since the bubble. So the second lowest in about... Actually, no, the second lowest of all time. It's happening right now.
Yeah. So people don't again, whatever you want to say, I get people online like AEW, and I want AEW to be good. We have the same discussion every single week, but you watch it, and I can't understand how people can just have all that copium and say, this is good. And trust me, if this is your first time listening to us, and you're like, man, this guy just hates AEW. Nah, I'm about to get on WWE for some very stupid decisions at Clash at the Castle. But for the most part, it's like the matches are just there, and you don't care about the characters behind the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think we got another pay-per-view coming up. 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Something like that. And it's my least favorite one they do every year because I don't care about New Japan guys because I don't watch it. I don't care about CMLL. I get that's some people's thing, but I just do not care.
This always happens around this time of year, where the television just gets unbearable because they're trying to push the outside talent.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know. It's been like this for a hot minute. Like after All In of last year, it's tanked.
Bro, but you remember like 2 years ago when I think what was that the first Forbidden Door when all the no-name guys started to show up on television? Even when they were doing 1 million viewers every week, it was garbage.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, at least then they had a Jay White or an Okada. Like, who does New Japan have anymore?
I'm trying to think, man. I legitimately do not know who the champion is in New Japan. Oh, it's Moxley.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Moxley.
Shota Umino. You want to see him?
Nah.
Now they've rated all New Japan's talent. So who's in the pipeline? It's gonna change everything.
40-year-old Tanahashi.
How about 35-year-old Mr. Ricochet?
Oh Lord. Yeah, well, he's gonna get over there and do the same thing they all do. Why can't we go for guys that have personality? Like, I like Ricochet.
I do too. Yeah, I want him to do well, but I know he's not.
Exactly. I genuinely like him. I like Prince Puma and Lucha Underground, but I mean, what is he gonna say? What is he gonna change? Is he gonna be the revolution in AEW? Nah. Why you bald? Wait, why you ugly? I really do like Ricochet, but that's just all-time clip.
He seems like a nice guy, but yeah, he'll probably be like a Cesaro in AEW. Have good matches, probably win the ROH championship, have a good little month on top on every Dynamite, and then he'll disappear to Collision, and then eventually he'll work his way down to Rampage, and then you barely see him anymore. You know why.
Well, you said it. Hey, we forgot to mention that about Athena.
Well, oh yeah.
You know why.
You know why.
Anyways, the last thing on Dynamite that I I won't say cared to watch, but more had to watch was the Jericho TV time segment.
Wait, pause. Michael, was this supposed to be satire? I don't know what this was.
I think the whole Jericho gimmick is satire, is it not?
Why is he? Are we supposed to believe that he's lost his mind, or I don't understand.
I
Why
don't
is he
know.
yelling? Why is he yelling everything?
That and like why is he? It's not even like a probably. But it's not even like a JBL like political type gimmick where it's like, no, you guys love me and I'm here for like America or whatever. Like, it's not like that. I feel like you have to be chronically online to get this gimmick, and that's the problem.
Yeah, what if you're not on social media? You just watch the television weekly, and Jericho just shows up one week, yells at you, and walks around catering, giving advice out to people. Like, how confused would you be, Micah?
I don't know. I asked my uncle what he thought about it because he don't really pay attention to all the dirt sheets. But
You like it?
nah, he said it sucks.
Bro, I don't understand. What is it? This has to be spiteful. Is this get back from the please retire chance?
I guess. But that's not helping your case. Like, that's what I don't understand. If people chant please retire at you, shouldn't you want to do something good? Like, he can't think this is good.
You don't get it, Micah. He's working the internet fans. You're supposed to hate him. He's a heel.
The jabroni marks that don't know when a work is a shoot.
Man. I think he would be more goodwill for himself if he was just left for about a year, 2 years. I don't understand how Tony Khan thinks this is actually good content.
Well, you could say that as a whole about the entire thing. Like,
Wait,
and he
wait.
did you see what he put on Twitter the other day about I book for the sickos?
Yeah, I saw that. Apparently, it's a reference to a movie or something.
Well, more people watching that movie than there are people watching his television product. I'm glad Private Party is hopefully not getting sucked into this whole gimmick. I mean, they're going to be the one feuding, but I'm saying I don't want to see them in the group.
I called this. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or I texted you. I said, "Hey, Jericho's gonna need a tag team." Well, what a Private Party do?
I remember you saying that. I don't know what it was on, but and it sucks because they have charisma, and then they're gonna get like. I will say the only person that this somehow has worked for to me is Big Bill because his smiling face cracks me up. But again,
But what are you going for there? Are you going for a 7-foot guy being a monster heel? That's gonna make you money, not a smiling follower of Jericho. I mean, you saw how they did for Jack Swagger.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like we review Dynamite, but every week I feel like I'm just harping on the same things. Like the show is just not good.
Oh, it wasn't a good show at all. I thought last week's show was okay, or it was at least more tolerable than this one.
Yeah,
this one stunk. This was terrible. It was 3 squash matches on this show too,
and you can tell, like that Tony is like frazzled doing this at this point because used to like I remember when I was getting into AEW because I remember I was going to college at the time and I was taking night classes. So like the cards were out 2 or 3 days before. Like on Monday or Tuesday, you would know pretty much what was going to be on Dynamite. Now, dude, it's like 2 hours before.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It has more in common with 2019 WWE than 2019 AEW at this point.
I'm just waiting for somebody to get dog food dumped on them, and I think that'll be the turning point for me.
Well, I mean, Mark Briscoe took a pounding on this show. Maybe they'll just pour dog food on him next week.
Anyways, that was AEW Dynamite. Garbage. Speaking of garbage, I don't really have a transition. I actually thought Clash of the Castle was okay, but I thought some of the finishes were garbage. And that brings us to our first match. Like I said, Clash of the Castle in Scotland for the WWE Championship. We got the 3-star General Cody Rhodes and the lone what he used to be. He wasn't a lone wolf.
I don't know. What do they call him? I wasn't watching no TV in 2013.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that reference wasn't for you. AJ Styles doing his best Mark Henry go, which I thought was it was an all right segment. I felt like it was telegraphed because everybody knew it was coming because I feel like AJ wouldn't just randomly retire. So
this is AJ. Was called the Lone Wolf. He was called the Lone Wolf. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. You're good. I thought that was like Baron Corbin's thing. So I was like, well, no, maybe I'm.
Oh, yeah, he was that too in WWE, but AJ Styles was that all the way back in 2013.
Evil Ways. That was a really good. Probably AJ's best theme song, but I don't know. Get Ready to Fly is also top tier.
Yeah.
I also got to say this, and this might be a hot take. His new theme song is growing on me. It's not great, but
really?
It's not horrible.
I guess for new age theme songs, it's not the worst, but it's still theme songs garbage nowadays. Anyways, I mean, Braun Breaker's theme is really bad.
You know, I couldn't even tell you what his theme is.
Generic rock track number 5. What do you mean?
Well, it does all sound like WCW's playlist at this point. Other than they'll have their tagline at the front.
Hey, hold up now. WCW has some good themes, man.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like Jericho would walk out with like generic 90s pop rock.
But then you had DDP come out to Smells Like Teen Spirit knockoff.
Yeah, I'm about to say the ripoff.
Well, no, it was good though. Come on now.
Well, it was kind of heat, and I do like Nirvana.
I think Jimmy Hart was making the music back then. He was in his bag for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and he had like some of it, like the lower card guys, was just the stuff that like Turner owned, but I think like Macho Man and like the bigger stars, I think he actually made it.
Yeah, Sting, Goldberg, they had some good things.
Yeah, that's true. Goldberg's theme is a classic, and it's very simple too.
He took a beating this week. I don't know if you saw that documentary.
Oh, I watched it. I recommend anybody to watch it. It's not anything new, but it's very entertaining to me, at least.
It made him seem like more of a jerk. I don't know if you were Team Goldberg before the documentary, but I was very much not completely done with him, but now it just seems like he's full of himself. And like the wrestling business owes him. Like the wrestling business didn't make him a millionaire. Like, he was a reject football player, man. But he feels like the business still owes him something. And everybody was out to get Bill Goldberg. I don't know. He didn't come off likable in that documentary.
See it both ways, because at the same time, it's not his fault that he wasn't trained or like that he got over. And I can, like, obviously we know about the politics that happened in WCW. And I don't think he meant to hurt Brett, but like, what more? I mean, he had a point. Like, what more can you say? I can't blame Brett for being mad, or like the other guys for being like, this guy's a bonehead. He don't know anything. But what can he say to appease Brett? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just the whole streak thing. He said that it should have kept on going on. The streak should have happened and continued to go on way past Starrcade when the streak kind of it lived out its lifespan, really, man. I mean, how many times can you beat guys in 2-minute squash matches? And it wasn't like he got beat by Disco Inferno. I mean, he got beat by one of the most over guys in the company and a believable guy at that with Kevin Nash.
And they cheated.
Yeah, and they cheated. Yeah, man. I don't know. Goldberg seems like he's a really, really a selfish guy. I don't know.
Well, see,
and, I'm still heated for when he beat the Fiend.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. I wasn't watching that live, but I had a DVD that had that match on there. I don't know, man. I always felt like that was a good way to go about ending the streak. I mean, they cheated. They kind of protected him in that aspect. And then, like you said, you can buy Kevin Nash beating him because Kevin Nash is bigger than him.
And look around at the crowd when Kevin Nash pinned him and hit him with the powerbomb. The crowd was going nuts.
Yeah.
Not like the crowds were throwing trash in the ring like when Hogan turned heel. I mean, guys were getting sick of Goldberg at that point.
I can see your point, but speaking of people going Superman on them, we got Cody Rhodes, Super Cody, the 3-star general versus AJ Styles in the I Quit match. I thought well, let me wait. I'll save that for the end like they did. I got a couple things here. First, a history question, as you are the historian of the Scoop Slam podcast. Has anybody ever passed out in an I Quit match? Because I thought that used to be like a finish.
Passed out in an I Quit match?
Yeah, because Cody passed out, but
no, you can't lose if you pass out. Well, hold up now. Technically, Mick Foley passed out in an I Quit match, but Rock played a recording of Mick Foley saying "I quit," and he had Mick Foley like face down on the concrete. And so you couldn't really see Mick Foley's face, and they played the recording, so it seemed like Mick Foley was saying "I quit."
Yeah.
When he was really passed out. So I mean, you could consider that, I guess. But no, you can't pass out an "I quit" match, Michael. You have to say "I quit," man.
Well, I don't know. I just thought it was like either you say "I quit" or pass out, kind of like Stone Cold in the submission match. But I mean, that's a little different too, because obviously. Once somebody passes out in a sanctioned match, well, then you can't really do anything about it. Yeah. Also, I thought AJ getting the handcuffs out of the thumbtack bag was a great heel move because you saw up like, holy crap, dude, WWE's bringing out thumbtacks. This is crazy. And then, nah, it was just handcuffs.
I did think it was going to be thumbtacks.
Oh, I did too. Anytime somebody brings out a velvet bag, you know what's in there.
Legos.
Oh, God. Or hockey pucks.
Hockey pucks.
Yeah, isn't that what Jericho had a couple weeks ago?
Was that in the bag?
Was I don't know. There was something dice. Dice they had the other day.
Okay. I'm pretty sure they had Legos, if I'm not mistaken, in one of those street fight matches.
I wouldn't doubt it. It sounds like an AEW thing to do. Before we get to the finish, did you have anything about the actual match?
Maybe towards the end of the match. I did think it was a good match, though. I thought AJ has. I thought about it, Mike. AJ has had Cody Rhodes' best match in WWE. He's had John Cena's best match in WWE. And he's had Roman Reigns' best match in WWE. And bro, this ain't even prime AJ. This is 45-year-old AJ.
Yeah. That's what I wrote. I wrote in here that I thought AJ has really or Cody, I guess, has kind of revitalized AJ's career, because that Backlash match was the best match he's had probably pre-COVID. And I thought this was really good up to the finish.
Oh, you didn't like that?
I did not like that. I thought it was a very weak way for AJ Styles to go out, especially, I mean, I get he's playing the heel, but I don't know, man. That we see so much happen in wrestling that, is somebody getting stairs thrown at them really the worst thing? And then for Cody to do it anyways after AJ did quit, I didn't like that, man. Cody's this ultra white meat baby face. I don't think you have to give him a heel edge.
Well, I didn't see a big problem with it. He did try to slap his mom. I mean, what would you do, Micah?
Well,
slap your mom. Wouldn't you pick up some steel steps?
Well, I mean, good luck, but I don't know. I get it.
Come on.
But when I was watching it live, it just kind of felt like, really? Like that was it? I guess I expected a hold or something really menacing for Cody to do to make him say, I quit.
He doesn't have a submission move, Micah. So he can't lock him in any submission moves.
He had the figure four.
Well, how anticlimactic would have that been?
Hey, man, Flair made it work for about 30 years.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see a problem with it. Babyfaces do that type of stuff. Remember when Cena gave Batista the AA off the stage when he said, I quit? I mean, that was heel, wasn't it? That was way more heel than what Cody did. Cody just gave AJ a little whack with the steel steps. Nothing wrong with that. He tried to slap his mom, Micah.
I guess that's true. And that was the finish to...
He picked up a steel chair, too. He picked up a steel chair. He was going to hit her.
Well, hey, you should have. She should have been running that mouth.
Mama Rose.
So, hey, AJ should have called The Rock.
He did have the belt. Was AJ getting hit with the belt, or was it Cody?
Hey, I can only imagine if he had actually done something to her. I really thought they should have put the belt on AJ. I thought it would have made it great.
Maybe for a 1 month token title reign.
Yeah.
I had a big problem with it, no.
And then let Cody get it back. That's fine. But just the absolute shock value, and then have it be because AJ harassed his mom or whatever, and he just wanted her to let go. I think that could have worked, but I don't know. I didn't like it, even though that's a finish we've seen before. They did the same thing with Jeff and Matt Hardy at WrestleMania, because or no, Matt won that match. That was at Extreme Rules.
That was Extreme Rules. Yeah, when he had them taped to a table.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, though, Michael, with Cena and Batista, they did the same thing with that as well. Cena had Batista on top of a car and threatened to throw him through the stage. And then Batista said, "I quit," and he threw him through the stage anyway. Now, that happens. That happens pretty often for I quit matches.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it, but it is
You
what
would
it
have
is.
rather him put him in a submission hold.
Yeah, or something, I guess, a little more menacing, like getting thrown off the stage, cool. Jumped like off a ladder, taped to a table. I can understand that. That's like fear. You're just handcuffed and still. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but in the moment, I didn't like it.
The handcuffs were long too. He could have just went to the outside of the ring.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Like, he could just play cat and mouse.
Yeah, he could have just hid, like do the thing where he like hides between the second rope. I don't know. Overall, I would much rather see their Backlash match, and I think I even liked the Logan Paul one better than this, even though it was just okay too. The 3-star General strikes again, needless to say.
It was a good crowd, good match. I enjoyed it. The aftermath was something. I don't know if you groaned when you saw Solo like I did though.
He has no aura. He got no like, I just don't care about him when I see him. Especially in them weekend suits.
What is that?
I don't know, man. Red ain't his color.
He got the fingerless gloves on too.
Fingerless gloves in 2024 is insane work. That could make nobody look. I don't care if Roman came out in fingerless gloves. Maybe like Undertaker.
Okay, yeah, Taker we can give a pass to, but yeah, when I saw Solo come out and have a face to face with Cody, I was like, oh God, please no more Bloodline and Cody.
But it's happening.
Well, not like I thought it was gonna happen, because there were a couple of guys that came out to help Cody, and so it's looking like it's gonna be a 6-man tag with a KO and a Randy versus the Bloodline. Can you see that for Money in the Bank?
Yeah, but then I see Cody getting screwed by Randy, and then maybe Randy versus Cody at SummerSlam, but I could also see them pivoting to Randy versus KO at SummerSlam, and then Cody versus Solo, and then Roman returns.
Please, no. I like the first one better. Whoa. You think Orton joined the Bloodline?
Oh, God.
Bloodline Wolfpack with Orton.
No, I don't see that one happening, but I would much more prefer Orton and Cody, but I mean, where does Roman fold into all this? Because he's coming back sometime.
I don't know. They're adding members to the Bloodline. They signed another guy from New Japan, Hikuleo, and they still got Jacob Fatu waiting in the wings. Bro, how many Samoans are they going to sign? Like, we're going to have a Royal Rumble? Nothing but Samoans?
and host it in Samoa.
Oh, what they do NXT Samoa?
One, I don't know that they have an arena over there. Two, I wouldn't hate it.
They just open up a PC over there.
Oh, God. I mean, at this point, as many of them as they have, you might as well.
You can open up 2 PCs in that region.
Yeah, you got 2. One for the Bloodline Rock, the Wolfpack Bloodline, and then one for the
OG Bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't let Jey Uso be a trainer.
Oh man, or Jimmy.
Okay. I say that, I like Jimmy. Jimmy is the Hulk Hogan of this era, where it's like, or I don't know. That's a far fetch. Maybe Ultimate Warrior.
Okay, give me it. What? Why do you say that?
Because the in-ring work sucks, but the people love him.
You mean Jimmy or Jay?
Jay, not Jimmy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Jimmy.
No. Jimmy is the Brutus Beefcake of this generation.
Oh, come on.
Anyways, the wheels fell off the next one, so I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to talk about this. Jade and Bianca versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
What was this?
First off, triple threat tag team matches have always been 2 teams in the ring. So when did that start?
Well, sometimes when they do like a fatal 4-way tag match, they do all 4 people in the ring at the same time. They
Well, it
pick and
was a
choose.
bad idea here.
They pick and choose. Yeah, they shouldn't have done it for these gals right here.
So I thought originally, I thought this was fine early on, and I actually started to kind of get behind uh Isla and Alba because this was the first I've seen them. I thought, okay, their work isn't that bad. I was actually kind of interested. Now, granted, I still thought Jade and Bianca were going to win.
Yeah.
And then they started going to the finish. Because, okay, well, let me back it up. When Jade and Bianca were dominating early, there was still a little bit of like stutter step or, maybe this wasn't in the right place, so let me adjust, whatever. But they take out Jade and Bianca, fine. The other 2 teams work for a while, and then Jade and Bianca try and get back into the match. And that was when Jade tried to hit that springboard, that it was done from there.
Yeah, she was rattled.
Look, man, Punk did it too. Happens to the best of them, but you got to recover good.
Yeah, I was about to say she looked like she didn't know what she was like. She forgot to wrestle.
Yeah, and I hate that because I thought that she has actually improved some since coming to WWE. I feel like she is just a tad bit smoother, and maybe they cover up the rougher spots, which also helps because she's in there with more experienced women than AEW most of the time. But like it was just obviously calling spots or, okay, well, you're 3 feet away from where you need to be. Let me move you here, or my leg is supposed to go here, and this isn't how it is. So now I don't know what to do from that. And then we go to the finish, and Zoe, or no, it was Shayna, has Jade in, was it a sleeper or a headlock?
It was a sleeper.
I think Jade was either trying to, I don't know what she was trying to do, but she starts tapping.
If it looked like she was trying to tell her to loosen the grip, and you could see the referee, the girl referee, what's her name? Jessica Carr.
Yeah.
She was telling Jade, hey, quit tapping.
Mm-hmm.
You could I don't know if you could kind of hear it on the mic, but yeah, she was telling her, hey, bro, chill out. But a lot of people making excuses for Jade, saying she got concussed or something like that. And I don't know if we can make that excuse for her. The ropes were slippery or loose throughout the night. So I give her a pass there. But yeah, man, that tapping spot, that was even worse than the botched springboard, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because not only was it visible, obviously, for everybody, but the announcers had to call it. So then Corey's like, I think she tapped, Cole. Yeah. Well, now what?
In front of everybody, the ref, the audience at home. You think they switched the camera view or something?
Yeah. I don't know. It was bad, though, and I hate it because I thought that Jade has had a relatively good run, and that kind of goes into the finish, too. I mean, Jade and Bianca...
Hold up, Micah. It got worse, though, because Bianca almost killed Shayna with that 450.
I don't remember this.
So so Shayna was still had the sleeper hold on Jade, and her back was facing, upwards. And Bianca did a 450 with her knees and landed right on Shayna's back.
I do remember that. It was like one of those Mortal Kombat X-ray moments.
Oh my God, man. Oh, it was so bad.
I would have been hot.
They tried to kill Shayna.
Dude. So that's what I'm saying. But like even Bianca, who is probably the best worker they have, just not like, I don't know what happened, but it was so bad. And then they end up switching the titles off Bianca and Jade, who haven't even had them but like a month or two, maybe. I mean, I like them. I thought that Isla and Alba did fine in this match. This is the first I've ever really seen them, but I don't know. It felt cheap because they were in Scotland, and I don't like it because I feel like they would have waited some with Bianca and Jade. Then maybe they could have made somebody, but I don't know, man. What's the thought process behind this? Do you like the finish? Well, not the finish, but I guess the title change. Obviously, we didn't like the finish.
I don't like Jade's trying to hit springboards and high flying moves when she should be hitting power moves. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
But the whole title change, in the days leading up to Clash, I was thinking, because I saw a news story that Alba Fire's mom like died in a car crash a month ago or so. And that little voice in my head, Michael, was telling me they about to do a title change, man. Because it felt like the right thing to do, to give her the title change in front of her whole family. And I don't know if you stuck around to see the celebration, but it looked like an emotional celebration. And I didn't have a problem with it, especially because Bianca and Jay started messing up a bunch of stuff towards the end. I was kind of rooting for them to lose the titles at that point.
I didn't know that, but I saw it after on Twitter that her mom ended up passing. So that did kind of like, I got why they swapped the belts, but I still in the moment did not think that it was a good idea.
Well, who are they going to feud with after this, Micah? Jade and Bianca. There's nobody for them to feud with.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what are they going to do now? They're going to go their separate ways already?
Well, at least they are single stars, so they can theoretically be putting main storylines on SmackDown.
You think they put Jade in the Money in the Bank match?
Oh God. They'll put Bianca in there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jade, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah. I wasn't a very big fan of this, and we'll see the ensuing events after the fact, but I don't know. Wheels fell off bad, and I really hate that. And then, like, man, I hate to be like this, but people online really bother me when stuff like this happens because they'll be quiet as a mouse when something happens on AEW. But as soon as something on WWE happens, they got to point out every botch or this, that, and the other. I mean, just call it down the middle. That's my thinking. I'm not loyal to either company. Currently, I think the WWE product is more enjoyable, but I'm still going to call a spade because that's what we do here on the Scoop Slam podcast. But there's people out there like just, oh, this is where everything's safe. And look, Jade's improved so much. Like, I cannot remember. It was AO from Wrestle Purist posted something about Jade and said something basically mocking that she did the same thing that Punk did. And I'm like, dude, how many people botch on AEW every week and you don't say a word?
And I'm more willing to give Jade a pass this night because we saw a pretty even worse botch later on in the main event.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw that clip floating around that in the opening match, the referee pointed out to AJ, watch out for the ropes. It's loose. I don't know if you saw that clip floating around.
I did.
Online. Yeah. So I mean, it did look bad, but I'm not gonna. I don't root against Jade.
I don't root against anybody really. Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt or mess up a spot. But I'm just saying.
Orange Cassidy.
Well, when you put it like that, I don't know, man. It just bothers me. But anyways, let's move on because we got 3 more matches to get through. We got Gable versus Sammy for the Intercontinental Championship, and I thought this was very good bell to bell. Not necessarily a ton of specific stuff to comment on. However, I did very much bite the fake whenever Gable hit that German, or is it does he call it the chaos theory? Whenever Sammy went to do the haluva kick, but Maxine was in the corner, so he backed off of it, and then Gable hit him with some form of a German suplex. I genuinely thought that was going to be the match.
Yeah, I thought the match was a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of good in-ring action. I didn't hate it. Crowd was into it. Crowd went nuts when Sammy and Otis were interacting on the outside.
Yeah. I think
Crowd
Otis,
loved Otis, man.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think he's as over as Gable is at this point.
Crazy too. But remember we went to that Raw and he got one of the biggest reactions of the night.
Well, hey, that's because us Alabamians relate to Otis because he is like us.
Well, what about Scotland? Are they like Otis too?
Well, they do usually have like the freaking strongman winner every year. Like the mountain is from somewhere over there. So, maybe.
I thought they showed him in the crowd, the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they said that, I was like, well, Mark Henry showed up. But
He'll probably be there soon. Don't worry. So, I guess the talking point here is once again the finish. I don't know, man. Not a big fan of Gable losing again.
Well, if he takes it off of him in Toronto for Money in the Bank, Mike, that could be huge.
I mean, that's true, but they did kind of kill him tonight on Raw.
Well, yeah, they did twice. Got beat up by Braun Strowman, and then he got murdered by the Wyatt families. I don't know what's going on with Gable. Can you imagine if his contract situation didn't get leaked? And that was the thing we saw tonight, the same thing. People would have thought this was the last night in the company.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we didn't hear that he resigned, or if he didn't say that he resigned, but they said tonight that he's challenged for the Intercontinental Championship like 5 times, and
Awesome.
I don't know, man. I like Sammy, but Super Sammy is at it, and I'm sick of long title reigns.
I like Sammy. I don't have a problem with Sammy.
I don't either. Like I genuinely like Sammy, but I think it's redundant to keep having Gable challenge if you're not eventually going to give it to him. And I feel like it made the most sense.
Yeah, and the way they set it up on Raw, it seems like we're building to a multi-man match for the IC title at the next PLE. So I don't know where Gable fits into all this.
I don't know. I mean, okay, because too, I thought that he was going to. He looked, he had that real pissed off look at the end of it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get rid of Tozawa and Dupree and Otis tonight, and then like maybe join up with the Creeds. But he just came out like business was usual.
Yeah, they pretty much just ran the same type of angle that they've been running for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. And that's my problem right now with WWE. Like nothing is changing. Like the only title they changed was the women's tag championship, and that was the one that I thought definitely probably should not change right now. It feels like everything's in a holding pattern, and while that worked for WrestleMania, I'm sick of everything big happening on a big pay-per-view. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I just thought this was the moment.
Can you imagine the pop or the heat Gable's going to get when he locks Maxine in the ankle lock? That's coming. That's coming.
I didn't even think about that.
That's gotta be what they building to, right?
So what did she do to her foot? Did I miss this?
I think she fell off the apron and kayfabe hurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. So there's that finish, the third one that I have not liked. Following this, was Piper Niven versus Bailey, and I'm gonna be real honest. Like I was there. It was on. I was in the room, but I knew Bailey was gonna win, and I didn't really care.
I looked up just in time to see Chelsea Green in a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think she'll join the LWO?
Oh God. No, they're isn't somebody
Every
else
masked
coming
wrestler
in?
has to join the LWO. You know that.
They have some other Hispanic wrestler coming in soon, don't they, from AEW? Or am I thinking of something else?
From AEW?
Yeah.
Prince Puma?
That would kind of be funny if he came in as Prince Puma and joined the LWO. I'd pop.
I wouldn't hate it.
So, anyways, let's move to the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. We got Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. First, off the top, let's go ahead and say what an entrance for Drew. I thought that this was a really good way to build him. Certainly, it's the second time in his. Well, they were in Wales for the other, but it's the second time he's been in the main event, kind of in his. Certainly, they're going to pull the trigger, right?
You would think.
As the big talking point, we talked about it earlier, really scary spot with Priest getting his leg caught in the ropes. If you didn't see that, look it up. That's probably one of the scariest spots or botches I think I've ever seen in WWE, because it could have, if the ropes had been really tight, he probably could have snapped his ankle.
Or he could have broke his neck. Like, he
Yeah.
could have hit the apron, Mike. You know that's the hardest part of the ring. Have I told you that before?
I've heard it somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, man. Priest is 6'7", 6'8", 250, 260. Do you really need to do a move like that? It's time to retire that, bro.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about with Jade too earlier. I mean, we were talking about it that night. Like, every big man has to do a dive or a Hurricane Rana or a Swanton, or big woman in Jade's case. Like, everybody, I mean, why can't we just have a Lex Luger? You know what I mean? He just did what he needed to. That was it.
Yeah. Well, there was no reason to attempt that or try that. It didn't add anything to the match. If
Yeah.
he would have hit it, it actually added to the match because he missed it. Though I did
Yeah.
perk up when I saw him miss it because I was on my phone until he almost broke his neck, and then I kind of got locked into the match at that point.
And they pivoted from it well. Like, Drew was pretty much there and made it work and kind of led the camera off so they could get him out of it. But I mean, I don't know, man. And it would make that much more whenever they went for it at a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. And I get this was a big PLE, but I'm sure Damian Priest does that same dive on Monday Night Raw or a house show, because everybody has to do a dive.
Yeah.
So when you see it all the time, it's not the same. But anyways, I thought it was a good back and forth match. I was very shocked on the Claymore kick out. I thought that was the finish.
it was a close 2 count. He got his shoulder up just in time.
Yeah. And two, go ahead.
I was gonna say his selling was on point in this match. I don't know if he was really legitimately hurt, but his selling was top notch. Damian Priest,
Yeah.
especially because how he sold delivering moves at that point on. Because usually guys will start selling and then they'll hit their other moves, and they won't even sell the body part that got hurt, and they'll hit the move like nothing ever happened. Well, Priest was hitting Razor's Edge on one leg, and he was doing that jumping spin kick with one leg.
Yeah.
He'd do he climbed the top rope with one leg. I like that. I enjoy that. It's a lost art form, the selling part of professional wrestling.
Even the very final move, the South of Heaven, he was selling on it. I thought it was a good big man match.
Yeah. The botch, it locked me in at that point, man.
Yeah.
It was kind of, paint by the numbers before that.
And it don't help that I'm not 100% invested in Damian Priest, but I would probably say that this, like, on paper was the best match of the night to me, which it helps,
Yeah.
obviously, because the crowd reaction. But
Yeah.
I do have to admit, the selling did help a lot. And the finish,
Wow, what a finish.
I actually liked it.
I've never ever seen a finish quite like that. It was shot perfectly too, man. Like the whole
I,
camera angle was just perfect.
I saw somebody on Twitter say, "Who else recognized Punk by his cheeks?" And I was like, "Man, come on now."
Hold on. Hey, but Micah, man, the camera shot, the wide angle that you didn't really know who it was. Like they shot the wide angle from the crowd, and you could
Yeah.
hear the crowd like erupt. But you figure the crowd's erupting because there's a new referee coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't quite know who it was. And then the camera angle panned over to that last shot of the referee counting, and then you start to notice, wait a minute, referees don't wear Jordans.
Referees don't have slick back hair like that. Wait, I know that guy.
And kudos to CM Punk for wearing a long sleeve shirt to cover up his tattoos too.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch too.
So, all in all, I can admit, because I saw some people online talk about it, the finish or that finish is hokey.
What? How? It made sense.
Well, did you see the clip? Well, no, yeah, you sent me the clip. Punk
Yeah, I
sitting
see.
back there.
Yeah, Punk made it make sense. Come on now. People just want to hate on Punk.
He's sitting back there watching it on the screen, and he's like, oh, I'm right here by the screen. Give me his shirt. I honestly wish I'd never saw that clip.
You went back there and sexually harassed the women's referee for a t-shirt.
Yeah, he did. Take your shirt off. Whoa, Punk. Whoa, sir. It's 2024. Sorry, no, you can't run out of the ring, sir. We need to see you in HR right now.
Hey, bro, why was the referee not watching the match? They
Yeah.
stay for the main event.
Well, that's my thing too. If the hokiness of it again, if Punk is gonna run out there, why wouldn't Jessica Carr run out there?
Well, she wasn't watching the match, Mike.
Well,
Yeah, other things to do. She probably got bored at the start of the match too.
she was on her phone like you were.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but I can understand. I do have to call out a little bit that it was very hokey, but it really furthers the feud, and it got Punk a ton of heat in Scotland.
Well, I don't know because there were a lot of CM Punk shirts in that crowd.
That's true, but I saw some clips on TikTok, people like straight up cursing this man and his name and anything he owns and loves.
It's gonna be interesting when they finally clash. So, no pun intended.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, I get it, but holy crap, I feel like we've been waiting like forever to see something happen with this feud.
Well, they kept me interested throughout the whole feud, even though they haven't gotten physical that much. I think this is feud of the year so far in WWE.
Whoa, more than Cody Bloodline?
It's up there. It's up there.
It's
Yeah.
up there. I agree, but I got to see how it translates first.
We're gonna see the match, and if they can get a good 2-3 matches out of this, maybe a Hell in a Cell match, get some blood. Hopefully in Atlanta, they have the Bad Blood PLE will be there. Which I don't know. We talked about this earlier, but is blood back, Micah? Blood back on the agenda for WWE.
Completely forgot about that Cody got busted open in that match.
AJ did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it like this. They're owned by TKO.
Yeah.
The Rock is now a board member. And when he was on the show, he was getting a little more liberty than most people do. Pat McAfee he's got a free channel to say whatever he wants, basically. So I don't see why not. I mean, obviously the UFC ain't gonna shy away from blood.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
I don't either. I've always been a fan of it as long as it's used in the right way. I don't want to see it every single week, but
Yeah, sparingly.
Yeah, it could work. I don't know. I do kind of hate it for Drew though. I thought he was going to get the belt, and I wouldn't have minded if Gunther wasn't already locked in and getting a World Heavyweight Championship match. I think that would have been one thing, but
Yeah, that complicates things because
yeah,
if you did put it on Drew, then you would have to do Drew versus Gunther at SummerSlam. And the way Punk was talking at that press conference, he is maybe a day away from being cleared to go, so he's gonna be good to go for SummerSlam. And you couldn't have Drew versus Gunther when CM Punk is ready to go. I mean, that's
yeah,
just so. I mean, you booked yourself into a corner there. You had to do it.
that's true. And I know people were pissed, but like, I don't know. The way I see it, and it's not really like this because they don't get paid by, ticket sales or whatever. But the way I see it is Drew is kind of instead going to get the title. He's kind of taking the Conor McGregor fight, if that makes sense. Like he's going for the big marquee, like feud of the year, feuding with arguably the top guy or one of, because I mean he is selling the most merch. Rather than getting a world championship opportunity, I feel like those things are comparable.
And I don't think this feud needs the title necessarily.
Nah.
Because it actually adds more intrigue to the matches because they don't have the title on the line. See, if they had the title on the line, you would be like, well, there's no way they're gonna put the title on CM Punk. Not at this point, anyways.
So, yeah, I mean, I see your point because you really don't know who is going to win. Like, whenever they first lock up, I could see it going either way. You think Punk because it's his first match, but I thought the same thing about the Rumble.
Well, first match back, maybe like a street fight or something. Gives me flashbacks of Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at that SummerSlam in 2002, where Shawn didn't wrestle for, was it like 5 years at that point? He came back and everybody thought that, well, Triple H is going to beat Shawn. I mean, it's probably going to be a one-off. But then Shawn won, and then that turned into like a 8-year-long run with the company. So maybe Punk and Drew, first match, maybe Punk beats Drew. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm more interested in this feud than I am with any other feud on Dynamite and in WWE.
Yeah, it is the most compelling thing, and I think that now Punk is about to be healthy again, and we got roughly 2 months to SummerSlam. It's about to really be a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though: total review of Clash at the Castle. What you got? Give me a number out of 10.
I thought this was a pretty good, tight show. Didn't go too long. They had 2 really good matches, the main event and the opening match. The IC match was really good with good storytelling. Dang, I'm just using good all over the place, Micah. I give it a 7.4. I like Clash.
I'll go 6.5. It wasn't bad, but just a lot of the finishes I didn't love, and it kind of felt like we're dragging a lot of stuff still, such as the Gable stuff, the Cody AJ finish I didn't really care for.
Yeah.
And the Drew Punk stuff, like it was good, but there was nothing that happened on the show that I was just like, wow, or, a match that I was just like with AJ and Cody at Backlash, I was like, dang, this was a really good match. So I don't know, but we got Money in the Bank coming up soon, and then Forbidden Door, so they're obviously going to keep us on our toes.
Yeah, it's a lot to be excited for. You got the Bloodline. Hopefully, we'll get Roman back. They're adding new members. You got the new Wyatt family thing the angle they shot tonight was pretty interesting. You still got Drew and CM Punk simmering. Seth is back. Which nobody wants to see that, but I mean, he has his fans. So I mean, it's a lot.
Singing.
Yeah, they do love to sing. So it's a lot to be excited for the road to SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, you kind of hit on some of the stuff on Raw. You want to go over that real quick, or you want to go ahead and call it here and we can go a little more in depth on the Wyatt family?
Yeah, let's let the Wyatt family stuff sit for a couple of days. Let's digest.
Okay, well, then that'll be all for us as far as today goes. Thank you guys for listening. It was a jam-packed weekend and a nice way to kind of ease back into things as we both come back from birthdays and Father's Day and anniversaries, all that good stuff.
Vacations.
Yeah, vacations. But before we let you guys go, make sure to get you some dead threads. Obviously, the NBA Finals just finished. We talked about that at the start of the show. The Celtics sadly won, but make sure you get yourself some merch, whether you're going to their championship parade, whether, that new college football game is coming out next month. That's going to be pretty big. So you got the season coming up soon. Get your merch there. You want to stand out when you go to a game. It's just like wrestling. You want to stand out. You want to be a top dog. And the best way to do that is with some dead threads. They got soft comfort color t-shirts, eye-grabbing designs, and all that can be found within the link or the description of this episode. You click the link on our link tree. Just clicking the link right there will get you 15% off, but that's not all. Whenever you actually get ready to purchase everything, make sure you use code SCOOPSLAM to get you an extra 10% off. And so not only are you getting some great gear to support your teams, you're also getting a great deal. So like I said, make sure in the description of this episode, click the link tree. Should be the first link right there, 15% off. And then when you actually get ready to check out, code SCOOPSLAMMED, no space. And that'll get you an additional 10% off. But thank you for listening. We'll be back next week reviewing Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and whatever else happens in the wild world of wrestling. But from both of us, thank you for listening. Have a good one.